it's Ron Brown with Tech for Senior Live. I'll be your host today. Please put in the chat where you're from and who you are. When we start reviewing the news articles, if you want to look at our Facebook page, just click here and you can follow the articles along as we go. See you in a moment.
You're muted, Ron.
There we go.
Much better. Much better.
Much better. You can hear me now. I'm Ron Brown. I'll be your host today. This is Tech for Senior Live. This is June the 1st, 2023. You know, Huey, that music really grows on you after 4 years.
Oh, I love it. Yeah.
Isn't it great? I just sit there grooving away. I think that's great. Yeah, that's really works well. So anyway, welcome everyone. We're going to have a great show for you today. If you are out in the audience, thank you for watching. If you're watching this as a YouTube replay, I want to thank everyone for coming. And if you're watching it as a YouTube short, just click the link and it'll take you right to the show. So who the heck are we? What are we going to do today? Well, we're going to be with you for about an hour and we're going to review the tech news of the week. Lots of interesting stuff to do this week. So we're going to talk about all the interesting articles that we post to our Facebook page. And I'll just give you the, let me just give you the Facebook page. So if you want to follow along on the, on our Facebook page, you can see all the articles as we go through them. And that's just go to Facebook and type in Tech for Senior, no S on the end, and you'll find our Facebook page and you can follow along with us. Now, we also have another show that we do on Mondays, which is the main show we do. We've been doing that for 4 years now. And that is, of course, called Tech for Senior. But it's a Zoom meeting. And those of you, I see you, some of you have logged in there now and you're waiting for us. Sorry, it's not a Zoom meeting. You're in the wrong place. To get to the right place, you can pop over to our website. And I put a great big red button on there for you. It says take you to the show. Click on that and it'll take you right to our YouTube page, or you can watch it on Facebook. We broadcast this either to YouTube or to Facebook. So that's where we are right now. And so hopefully you'll come over here. We would be happy for you to listen to us. We have, of course, this show is taped and will be is on our YouTube channel as soon as the show finishes. We have, of course, today assembled a cast, an international cast of amazing people, which we'll talk about in a minute. But before we introduce who we are, we'd sort of like to know who you are. And we have no idea. We could just be sitting here talking away to ourselves all day, all morning. And that's fine. We like to do that, but we sort of like to know who's listening as well. So if you can put in the chat who you are, and if you're new, we'd really like to know if you're new. If you're new here, we'll give you the big round of applause and we'll all clap for you and wish you well, because we're always interested in how people come and listen to us. And if you're new, that's great. We appreciate it, and hopefully you'll spend your hour with us and then have some fun. So we will. So if you put that in the chat, we'll go over some of those comments and to some of those comments. So let me before we get going, or let me introduce everybody. Let's start with my co-host of our Monday show, the person who we started this 4 years ago, Huey Popluck. He lives in Bradenton, Florida. He's a very good friend of mine. He of course, we co-host our Monday show. He's a very busy fella, does lots of work with APCUG. He does. He has a big every twice a month he does Stug, which is the you can explain that. And if you want to, if you're interested in listening to Huey, this is some information about that. Huey, go ahead and explain yourself.
Oh boy, where do I start?
But you only have 30 seconds. But you only have 30 seconds because we got.
I'm on the board of directors of the Sarasota Technology User Group. I'm a former president of the Central Florida Computer Society, and the two of them have combined together to do the Windows SIG every second Sunday. And it's not this Sunday because this Sunday will be the first Sunday. But so you got a week, but you can go ahead and register now. That's fine. If you already are registered, you don't have to register again. And I also, with Ron, do learning Chromebooks, and I am on the Speakers Bureau of APCUG. And this month I've got two presentations for APCUG as well. And I'm doing a couple of forums for the Sarasota group. So I'm keeping busy, and I'm trying to keep up on all this AI stuff too.
You're doing a good job with that. That's great. Yep, indeed. Let me introduce, of course, our security expert. He's been with us since day one on the show and actually saved us from disaster many times. He's a tough guy. He's but a nice fella and just doesn't do security stuff. He's a man of many talents. He's a prolific producer of videos and a good friend of ours and a lot of fun to be around. We have a lot of fun with Bob Gustisha from Los Lunas, New Mexico.
Good morning. Another pretty day in Los Lunas, actually in Meadow Lake. We've had enough rain so that at the lake itself, what used to be the lake now has some ponding. So I posted something on our local stuff that says, who says there's no lake in Meadow Lake? And I have a picture of a pond with some water in it. And that's had quite a number of responses.
Are there lots of flowers coming out? Is it
at the park? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. AI. We now have people that proclaim it will be the demise of all of us. Of course, I don't share that view, but there are lots of people that think this new technology, the new chatbots, are going to wind up ruining civilization. I guess we'll find out.
Yes, and I've been putting a couple articles in in our newsletter the last 2 weeks. On Saturday, I put every week I put something up, but the last 2 weeks, one was the Gutenberg press and the printing press, the invention of it. They said that would be the end of civilization, and then when the telephone came around, they said that would be the end of civilization as we know it, that people wouldn't communicate with each other. It would always be on the phone.
There you go.
So it just history repeats itself.
It does indeed. And then, of course, our music director of our Monday show, who is being with us again almost since the start of the show. I'm going to say he's probably the most popular person on our show. Everybody waits to see what he's going to have as their music outro. He's absolutely captivating. He's the president of APCUG. He's also the treasurer. So he's a trustworthy guy and a nice guy. And we're so fortunate to have Ray Baxter with us from Pine, Arizona.
So glad to be here. I was glad to break my predictability role last Monday, and I could even.
You really did. Everybody had you pegged for Tina Turner. You were going to use. I had emails coming in. I know what Ray's going to do. And you didn't.
The nice thing is, you actually gave us Tina Turner
yes.
So we got
one.
Yep.
You saw I put both in the newsletter, Ray.
Good. Yeah, I saw it. I read that right
Yeah,
away.
yeah, I put both in
Appreciate
there.
that, and
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think that is a perfect way to recognize her passing.
So you're not 100% predictable.
I like to think not. I mean, I don't know sometimes what I'm going to do next, so I don't know how anybody else does.
All right. Well, there you go. There you go. Huey, do we have anybody listening to us?
Yeah, but you had said something earlier about letting us know who they are and talk about the weather thing. But also, if you have some questions, either what we're talking about or something else in the news, by all means, put that in there.
Just give us easy questions. Don't give us the hard questions.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good morning, Dick Vogel. Good morning. Afternoon from partly cloudy, 86 degrees, Sanford, Florida. Bernard, Sterling Heights Computer Club, Detroit, Michigan. Hi. Steve Powell, Kirkland, Washington, 53 degrees and sunny. Liz from sunny Ohio, 82 degrees. Ah, there you go. Mike Ungerman. Of course, Mike is a good friend of ours. He is a regular contributor on our Monday show. He's into solar power and EVs. So we have a regular EV car session on our show, and he's usually smiling and happy because he's sitting in front of his car, and it's powering off the solar panels of his roof, costing him $0.00. Early indication of Florida's hurricane season are tracking in across Florida from the Gulf of Mexico to the Atlantic this weekend.
Yeah, some of the experts are saying we're going to have a Category 7 hurricane this year, which has there has never been one.
No,
because last year was pretty good year, wasn't it? If I remember correctly,
we had a lot of hurricanes. Yeah,
did you? A lot of hurricanes.
Yeah, a lot of hurricanes, and a lot of them here in Florida.
And the one big one.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Clark says flying to Houston this afternoon at 8 a.m. We were told the flight would be 49 minutes late. 5 minutes ago, we got a message that it will leave on time. Going to be interesting. Yes, travel. Bob Baxter from Bellevue, Washington, 55 degrees and cloudy. Richard Clarkson from Monrovia, California, Canada. Oh, not Canada. 58 degrees now, going up to 71 later on. No sun. And Edie, Prescott, Arizona, 60 degrees, headed toward a pleasant 70. So it's going to be nice in your area of the woods, Ray.
Yep.
Brian, I am at my son's place in Trenton, Ontario, 81 degrees and hazy. Bobby, beautiful morning here in Northwest Phoenix. There you go. Sally, expect warmer weather Tuesday.
That's it. We're up to date.
There we go. Well, there we go. All right. So let's get on with the news. The first, let me just come down here and find the article. So the first article I wanted to talk about today, and I thought the best way to approach this is the article that came out, and you can find this on our Facebook site, 7 ways your Apple devices could save your life. Now, we don't all have Apple devices, although I will tell you that we did a poll last week, was it last week or the week before, that half the people watching our show on Monday have an iPhone. So it is popular, but we also have other phones. So I thought I would take the article and look at each of the 7, and we can apply it to our phones that we have, like the Android phone as well. And we'll see how this goes. Let's see how it goes. The first article, the first part was the emergency SOS feature. Now, we've talked about this before, but of course, the new feature on it is the ability not only to, if you need emergency help, is it's going to bounce off satellite. So it's not just running it on a wireless transmission, but the new feature that they've started is it's going to be bouncing off a satellite. So you'll be always able to get help. I guess the question then is, has anyone used this feature? If you're in the audience and you're listening, have you actually used it? I'd be interested to know. It is not unique to the Apple devices. I mean, there are SOS features on our phones. We have Android phones. I think, Huey, you have a Samsung, and Bob's got a Pixel, and Ray's got a Samsung, right?
Yes, correct.
Yeah, so we all got, we've got Android phones. Have you ever used the SOS feature on your phones, or have you ever set it up? Or
I haven't.
It's set up, but it's not yet available. There's a thing with T-Mobile and Starlink that is in the works, but I don't think it's live yet.
Okay. But so nobody's ever used any sort of SOS on their phones? Okay.
No.
Well, if you're out in the audience and you're listening,
crash detection is
we're
set
coming
up.
to that. We're coming to crash that, but that's a different feature, right?
Yep.
So all right. So nobody's used that. I'd be really interested to know someone that's used the feature. But anyway, that's number one. Number two was, of course, the medical ID. Medical ID is another feature available on all recent iPhones and Apple Watches. And if you permit it, anyone can view yours. So even if your iPhone's locked, that you can see the medical information on the phone, right? Or on your watch or a phone. It's your medical ID. Now, I've set it up on my, you can do this on Android as well. And I've set that up on my Pixel, right? So you can set it up so that this is a good thing to set up, because you can put the medical information, and information might be contact, like who's your family doctor, or if you're like Bob, your wife's was on rejection medication for her transplant. So you'd want to know if you're an emergency person coming to that person and they're unconscious, you'd want to know something about those people. Are you diabetic? Do you take are you on blood thinners, which would be really important to know. So there's important information that people can get without unlocking the phone, right? So that's an important thing to set up, and that's available on Android and of course Apple as well. Again, if you're out there and you've had any experience with that, I don't. We haven't had any serious problems lately, so we probably haven't used that ourselves, right? Have you? All right. So, but that's another interesting one to see. If you haven't set that up, I think that's important that you do. Now, fall detection is an interesting one, and for everyone that's listening, I put in the description of the video, like in the YouTube video that it's recording on, in the description, I put the links to all this. So I'm not going to put them up in the chat. The links are already there in the description. I've made over 20 videos on health related aspects of watches and phones. And part of those videos are on fall detection. And we could spend the next hour talking on fall detection. I don't want to do that, because that's we want to get on with this. So the videos are there, and I would encourage you to watch it. The interesting thing about fall detection, I don't know if you guys have probably heard me talk about this before, is if you go to Apple right now, all this stuff is about fall detection with the Apple Watch. If you go to Samsung, and I looked on there this morning, you won't find them mention it at all. It works on Samsung, but there's just no mention of it on their website with the watch at all. The same thing with Pixel. Pixel has fall detection, no mention absolutely at all. No. If you do a search in the support, you'll find it, but there's no advertising. Apple's the only one that promotes this, and I have some very serious concerns that it actually works or not. So, and I've put that out in a video that's gone viral. It's really a big video for me, and it's there, and you can watch it if you want. But I have some big concerns about that, and so, but I'm not going to go into that, because that could take all morning. We're not going to do that. So if you are going to purchase a watch for fall detection, watch my video before you do that. Any of you guys got any comments? Or
Well, why do you think, Ron, that they're not pushing it on the Android devices?
it doesn't work.
Oh,
I don't think it works. Bottom line is, I don't think it works. I mean, and I just don't think
wouldn't that be easy to test?
Well, nobody's tested it, right? And all the other features that Apple hasn't done any research. They've published no studies. Nobody's ever done any study to say, does this work? And there's been lots of people that have done, there's lots of anecdotal information coming in that says, yeah, I fell down and, an ambulance came or something like that. But those are very far and few between compared to the number of watches that are sold. And it just doesn't work there's a whole bunch of reasons why it doesn't work. And that's all in the video, but it doesn't work. And that's why Samsung and Google don't promote it at all. Although the watches will do it, there's no mention of it. Nobody's advertising it. It's only Apple doing it. So I think that's anyway, that's my concern with that. But I want to go on because I could talk about that all morning.
You already have.
I get on that. The SOS feature, again, which is on crash detection. Again, this is available on Android phones. It depends which phone you have, but on Pixel, Bob, our Pixel phones have it. I think Ray's Samsung does, or Huey's S21 has it. I don't know if your Flip do they have that as crash detection on your?
I didn't see it.
Yeah, you might want to have a look at
a lot at it. So you're promoting this article today has made me actually do more research on my own devices than I.
Yeah, that's the point of the article. Yeah, is I wanted to talk about that is to point that out, is that the crash detection is something that you can set up on your phone, and it's something you should, because if you do get into an accident, it will do emergency notification for you.
As I said a moment ago, fall detection is kind of easy to test. Crash detection, much harder.
Much harder. Well,
there have been some reports of false crash detections.
Yes, that's a big one. But anyway, that's an interesting one. The other one, of course, is your heart and your health, which is the health monitoring of your heart. And again, I've put the links to the videos in the description that you can go and you can look at it. But there's a lot of features that are very helpful for you. But these features are also available on your because we're talking about sensors, monitoring sensors. So you need sensors. So you need the watch, because the sensors are usually on the watch. And we'll actually look at an article today, and when we get into the feature articles, is that they're looking at putting sensors in the watch strap now as well. So not just in the watch. So all of this is about sensors, and sensors that we can measure certain things to do with your heart rate, looking for different types of heart rates like atrial fibrillation, so that we can help prevent stroke. There's a whole bunch of sensors that's pretty cool. Again, Bob's been looking at you. Blood sugar, was that
freezing?
Am I freezing?
Yeah.
Yep.
We missed part of what you said.
You said you ordered a watch, didn't you, recently with a blood sugar? You were trying.
Which isn't coming.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right.
I explained that, I think, on Monday, right? It's ordered, and then they had 50,000 excuses. And the final excuse was, you're not getting it. Here's your refund. And I have gotten my refund. So I give them that much credit. I want the watch.
So just to let everyone know, at MIT 5 years ago is when they discovered how they could do this, right? And I talked about that when I was down in Mesa doing talks there. And so that's 5 years ago. And 2 years ago, Apple submitted the request out for sensors, for people to build these sensors. And so the technology is been around for a while now. And I'm just wondering why we can't get on with this.
Mike said that he is still supposed to be receiving that watch.
Right.
And I told him, let me know if it happens.
Right. But one of the things that's interesting, I mean, obviously it's going to be very popular, right? If Apple brings this out. I'm Apple hasn't consulted me, right? I would, yeah,
What?
but yeah, I know. But I would, if I was Apple, I would spin another company off rather than Apple, call it Apple Health, and then I would have another device. I wouldn't put it in the watch because, the two are quite different, and there's, Apple wants to bring out new watches every year. Maybe you wouldn't bring out a new band every year, because medicine doesn't change as fast as watches do. Maybe there's another way of looking at this, but for some reason, whoever, they're just not making progress that they should. I think that should have been out a long time ago.
Right now, I like the idea that you can have an inexpensive band you can purchase that will fit whatever watch you have. I can't imagine what that band would cost if it has sensors built into it.
That's right. Yeah.
I have two wrists. I can wear something on one wrist and also something on the other.
Yeah. I don't know. Interesting. Let's have a look here. Hold on. Did we do? Oh no, I'm out of sequence here. There we go. And then. This was really interesting. Let me know in the comments if you knew this. Did you know? And this is on the iPhone. I do not know if it's on an Android phone. But if you have your iPods in and you're listening to blaring music at night and you're in the bedroom, and the fire alarm goes off, right? The sound will stop, the music will stop, and you'll hear the sound of the fire alarm. And this could be any emergency sounds on the iPhone. Then the music shuts off, and you can hear the sounds. And I didn't know that. I thought that's really a cool feature. And I don't know if my Pixel Buds do that. I'll have to look, but that's pretty cool, because just think about it. You could be in the bedroom and you could be sitting there listening to this great music, going to sleep. Meanwhile, in the kitchen, the smoke detector's going off and screaming like crazy, and you'd never hear it if you've got that music blaring in your ears, right?
Well, would you really have music blaring in your ears if you're trying to go to sleep?
Well, you could be the first hour. Who knows what kids do, right? I mean, come on. So the
same thing is true with driving. A lot of people have earbuds in their ears so they listen to music while they're driving, and they really shouldn't do that because they're not going to hear sirens. And I don't think that's going to work on a fire truck 2 blocks away that's coming up behind you.
I don't know. I don't know if that's. But anyway, this is sort of interesting. I just was reading this morning when I was preparing for this, and I thought I got to do more. I wonder if my Pixel Buds do that. And if you're in the audience, if you know that works, or if you've ever experienced that, let us know. That's sort of cool. And then the last was Find My. This is Find My Phone. I use that all the time. I have on my watch, because I can never remember where my phone is, right? And we have 2 levels of the house, and the worst thing is I look for it on the upper level. I'm looking around and I can't find it. I come all the way downstairs here, get into my studio. Where's my phone, right? I go back up, it's on the kitchen table, right? So before I come down the stairs, I always hit the button on my phone or on my watch, and the phone screams and I know where it is. I use that all the time.
Since we're talking about health detection, my wife a couple of weeks ago, was startled because all of a sudden Miss A says, "Are you all right?"
Oh,
She was out of breath working on something, and I guess
yes.
The nearness of that device just picked up the fact that she was out of breath and asked, "Are you all right?"
But I knew about that because Amazon has programmed that into the Miss A devices, is that if you have any, if you're short of breath, you are making funny sounds, or there's certain sounds that you can make, they'll ask you that and say, "Are you okay?" Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's interesting. That's interesting, Bob.
And the other day I got a question to ask me to verify my name. So there must be something new coming out where they'll actually now address you depending on who is asking a question or responding with your name.
All right, before we get into the articles, Huey, anything, anyone, any questions or anything we should
Yeah,
deal with?
let's see where we left off here. Hope I don't miss anybody.
Mike says, quick inquiry of Google Bard. Is fall detection implemented in the Pixel 6a? The answer is yes, with good explanation of how. Yeah. It can. Mike, I mean, same for crash detection with an analysis of yes and how it works. Yeah, you can set it up. I ordered a watch with the blood sugar monitoring as well. Amazon still says it's en route. We'll see. Well, I'm interested, Mike. That'll be a good one. Let me know how it works out. Dick says Apple should expand the sound detection to include. Sorry, I'm not sure it doesn't. You can look at the article. The article's on our site. I just don't want to go back and look at the whole article. It may do emergency vehicles. I don't know that for sure. I can't remember. I read the article, but I can't remember that, Dick. But it's on our. Just go to our Facebook page, and the article's there, and you can read it. Mike says Bard says that 6A does not detect emergency sounds, but that Google is working on a loud sounds alert to be available in future update. Vale, yes, great. Vale's listening. Hi, Vale. Vale and I, we fixed a lot of computers in Mesa. The Apple Watch Ultra has asked me if I fell several times when I bumped it hard. One of the interesting things, I'll only take a minute. I'll only mention one of the interesting thing is that there's a YouTube video in which a younger couple took 3 different watches and they put gym mats out and they fell, right? They actually went and fell with these 3 watches. And it was very interesting because the pattern of the falls that were recognized were dependent on what watch you had. In other words, there were certain types of falls that did better on certain watches, right? And these were younger people, so I'm not suggesting the older group tries falling, because I tried it. I thought, I'm going to test this out, and my butt hurt for 2 weeks, right? So don't do it. You're going to hurt yourself. But these were young people wearing watches falling, and it became very evident that it is specific to the type of watch and the fall algorithms that are programmed in. So what if you fall if you have a Samsung watch and you do the Samsung fall, is the Apple Watch going to pick up the Apple fall or the Samsung fall? You know what I'm saying? So that's one of the big problems. So anyway, I don't want to get started on that because that goes on forever. All right, let's do some articles. Let me share my screen. We go here, share screen. And we'll do Facebook. And here we go. Let me get this a little bit bigger for everybody. I didn't see. I better refresh it here. Usually,
you better.
Yeah. Yep. Usually, Ray's got his scheduled articles in here. How come Bob got his first over Ray? Because you had yours scheduled for 9 o'clock. How did Bob sneak that in?
Bob has his scheduled for 9:01.
No, Bob posted his while we were chatting before we started. I may be old, but you still got to get up early.
Okay, Bob, go ahead.
AI, are we at risk or another doomsday theory? This is a rebuttal to an article, and I put a link in for the article that predicts that the new AI revolution is going to be the end of civilization. Read my rebuttal and let me know whether you agree with me or whether you're as scared as those that seem to be signing up for this doomsday notification about AI.
As I've said in our pre-show amongst ourselves, the last two Saturdays in the Tech for Senior newsletter, I wrote about the Gutenberg press and the telephone in the next article or previous article about those 2 inventions. And they said the same thing about those. So, there's always a group of people who are naysayers or naysayers. And and are afraid of it. And if you read a lot of the articles in newspapers, in the popular press, they only tell the bad parts about it.
All right, Ray.
Okay, Verizon is expanding its 5G in the states of Arizona, Illinois, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin. Now, Ron has said many times, and couldn't agree more, it makes sense to continue to check what your ISP provider options are where you live and to see what the latest offerings are. So Verizon's best version of 5G is called ultra wideband, and it's a combination of two bands that provide both fast speeds and coverage of large areas. So cities both large and small are getting this option. So if you folks listening today live in one of those states, it's worthwhile to check out this article.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
more and more areas are getting 5G.
Absolutely.
We have a new 5G tower, and Verizon, apparently, who put this up, corporate, still doesn't know it exists.
Hot summer, but in Phoenix, yes, it's going to be a hot summer, Ray. I don't want to be in Phoenix this summer.
Oh, well, that's news to me. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
It's a hot foldable summer. That's what this article is referring to. Now, Samsung, I think, the clear leader in the category of foldable phones. And then, of course, you have Motorola's Razr. Those are going to have competition. The Pixel Fold is on the way, as well as the Oppo branded OnePlus. And they say both of them are going to have a foldable phone in the second half of 2023. So it's a good article to read if you're thinking about upgrading to a foldable phone. Now, one drawback has always been the expensive price. People have said, no, I don't want to spend that much money. But my answer and what I did, I wait till the next generation comes out, and then I buy at a heavily discounted price the slightly older model, which I found over the years, the improvements are really negligible most of the time.
I think it's important, Ray, that people do understand that there is two types. There's the foldable phone, which means it's going to fold out, and so you're going to have like mirror image of both. Then there's the flip phone that flips up. It's like the old flip that we used to have. Those are much cheaper than the foldable, right? The flip is
the flip is about $1,000 from Samsung, and the foldable is about $1,800.
Right.
I think, the last time I
you don't have that extra. So
but there is a term called foldable phones, and that as a term covers both.
Both. Oh, really? Okay. Windows 11. Oh, this is cool. What's all about this about?
All right. Now, for those that know, on Windows 11, Microsoft introduced what they call an update process called a moment. Moment in time, I guess. And these are optional cumulative updates that include new features as well as bug improvements. Now, the recent Moment 3 for PCs running Windows 11 22H2 are listed in this article. And the one that caught my eye is the new Bluetooth low energy audio that offers high quality audio sound at lower power. And it's supposedly intended to enhance the user experience, not only for music on compatible devices, but for calls and videos as well. So again, if you've gotten this recent Moment update, it's worthwhile checking out this article to see what that actually entails.
Now, I watched Leo Laporte Windows Weekly, as well as the fact that I also posted an article about this a little bit later on in this same list. But the Moment updates are optional. In other words, they're not going to happen automatically. You've got to go into the Windows update section. You'll see it there if it's available for you, and then you can tell it, yes, go ahead and install it. It is not automatic.
I didn't realize that. Thank you.
And there's a whole bunch of new things. One is they added seconds to the clock on your taskbar, and which I've done, so I know it's working on mine. And there were a few other things in the list. There's a long list of things that they've added in this Moment, but a lot of them don't have anything to do with stuff that a lot of us would use. But there are a few things that are interesting, and I'm sure Bill may cover it with the Tech for Seniors, and of course I will in my WinSig on the second Sunday.
Yeah, that was my point in putting this article up. Is I often will get, well, we all get the updates, but how often do we know exactly what's in them? So this article is a good article for pointing that out.
Yeah, Microsoft did a nice job of explaining that. Finally.
Okay. Oh, this is really interesting. I don't know if you guys have looked at this. Bob, you've got a Pixel, right?
Yes.
So this is not available yet, but coming soon, and I'm really interested in this. This is Pixel's upcoming dash cam feature, and there you're going to be able to use your phone. And this was an article about someone using the beta version of this, and writing an article about how this works. Now you will need a couple of things. You'll need a holder that mounts on the dash, and that's going to have to connect to the case on your phone. So there will be some hardware that you'll have to add, but otherwise this is going to seamlessly work when it pairs with the Android Auto. So you'll just come in, put your phone on the dash, and your Android Auto will connect, and then your dash cam will start working. I think that's pretty cool.
I bought a dash cam, but I haven't installed it yet because I got to clean the inside of my windshield. I can't do it, so I got to take it to a car wash, which means me emptying out the inside of my car, and that's going to be a job and a half. So I haven't got around to it yet.
Yeah. So I've owned a bunch of dash cams, and I get interested for a while, and then I'm not interested, but you always have your phone with you, and so I thought this is so cool. And I think the technology is going to be really good. I think that's a good feature.
Yeah, the only problem here in Florida is the sun is so hot that sitting up there, your phone sitting up there for a long period of time could be an issue.
But I don't think, Huey, I think the idea with this is your phone goes with you, right? So when you're in the car and you're driving and you're going somewhere, it would be there, but you're not going to leave it sitting on the dash, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. So
it's going to go with you because you would normally take that out of the car when you left. The idea of this being is it's there when you're in the car and then out. So anyway, it's a cool feature. The other one that came out, this is an article this morning that came out saying that the smartphone shipments are forecast to decline in 2023. The reason that I brought that up is because there's some stinking good deals on phones right now. So if you are interested in purchasing a new smartphone, Samsung, Pixel, all these companies, Apple, all have big sales on now. And so this is actually a good time. This is going to go up in 2024. They think it'll bounce back up, but because of inflation, a lot of different factors now, the sales are going down, and that certainly is promoting some big sales. So just want to let everybody know. Here we are. We talked about this, Ray. This is your phone. The Galaxy Z Flip 3 is now cheaper than the Pixel 7a.
This is the point I try to make. I don't buy the latest and greatest. I usually buy one generation behind, just as the new one is coming out. Usually the differences are negligible, and the price difference is tremendous.
Yeah, that's a great price. So that's good. And here's the article on the different Apple is bringing. This was in this morning. Apple Watch patent reveals recognition support for different watch bands. And these watch bands are actually going to have sensors in them, and they're going to be able to test different things. And I thought, well, that makes sense because you're wearing it around your wrist. So why just have it in the sensors on the back of the watch?
Yeah, but will that band still be $4.99?
I don't think so. I don't think so. Ray, this is interesting. I thought I put this in for you.
Okay.
Apple Music Classic launches on Android. So if you are an Apple, and many people are Apple users, we have a big readership, but Apple Music now Classic launches on your Android phone. So if there's specific reasons why I don't know, there's something on Apple Music, or maybe you have Apple Music or whatever Apple Music, then you now can run this on your Android phone.
That's good, because many people obviously are interested in classical music, and this is a good feature.
Yeah, so that's so I thought that was sort of cool. And then Apple tests new high-end Macs with the M2 Max. We talked about. You weren't here last. Were you here last week, Ray? I think you were away last.
No, I was in Grand Canyon.
We talked about mini computers last week, and of course, Huey has a mini computer. You did a talk on mini computers, and then Vale Williams actually mentioned when we were listening, he said, I've got the M2 as the and this is the interesting. This is a mini computer, and of course, Apple is just blown away with these chips. They're really fast, and it's a great system. And that's what you see there. And you can plug, I guess these are the ports, the Type C ports. You can plug everything in to this little box. That's the M2. Yep. So that's sort of cool. Now I just you got to read this. Is Comcast giving up on cable TV? You got to read this article. So over the past few years, blah, blah, blah. This month, Comcast announced plans to launch a live TV streaming service for its internet customers that will cost $20 a month and come with Peacock. This is a huge move for Comcast, which has in the past been very careful not to undermine its cable TV packages. So they're even shooting themselves in the foot by offering this $20 streaming service that will be through Peacock. So you can cut the cord and stay with Comcast. That's crazy, eh?
Yeah. Yep.
So anyway, if you
can't beat him, join him.
Yeah. But you might not even have to leave your current, your current company. You can cut the cord and still get the. I thought, you got to be kidding. Anyway, that was a good one.
You have to be either a Comcast business customer or an Xfinity customer to take advantage of that new service.
Huey, Microsoft.
Yeah, and we've already talked about this.
Okay.
This was the article I posted earlier, I think yesterday.
Before we get to this one, have we got any more comments? We're about
let me go back to that. Let's see where we left off here. I think it's here.
Oh, Chris and Jim, I had my watch alert family when I was at an airport. I had to remove my watch and it dropped. Well, that's 28 subs to get to 10,000. Oh, good. So they've only got 28 subscriptions left. So we're trying to get Chris and Jim Gould, who have the channel Geeks on Tour. We're trying to get them over 10,000. They're so close. They've only got 28 subscriptions more. So if you are listening, you are on a show, head over to Geeks on Tour on their YouTube channel. And please, they've only got 20. I might even
you can't subscribe more than once.
Yeah, but I might make a bunch more. I might make a bunch more, create a bunch more Google accounts. And we got 20 left.
They'll hear you.
Oh, okay. All right. I had a dash cam app on a phone for a while. Yeah, Jim, did it work? I wonder what your experience was. The cool part about this one that I just discussed with the Pixel is it's all going to be tied into Android Auto. So you don't really do anything when you bring it in, put your phone on the dash in the holder. It'll start up and automatically run when it connects to Android Auto and does its thing, right?
That's if you have Android Auto in your car.
Yeah. I had a dash cam on. Yeah. Richard says one reason for the decline in sales is the price. Well, that's true. They're going up. I'll wait until the price drops.
Well, because they are so high, people aren't as likely to go out every year and buy a new phone. They'll wait 2 or 3 years now to buy a new phone.
Correct. Mike says Elon Musk was announced that Tesla phone with a starting MSRP of $390. I don't, Mike, that's been around for a while. I wonder, is that a new one? Because he's been floating the Tesla phone for a long time now, and it hasn't come to pass.
On a wait list.
Yeah, and the same thing with Tesla bikes, e-bikes. He's been sort of spouting that idea, but there is no such a thing as of yet. So I'll wait for that one. Local now, free streaming services available on all streaming services, many channels, some for local news.
Yeah, they have hundreds and hundreds of channels.
Yes.
You may not want to watch too many of them, but it is totally free. Lots of news on there.
Yeah, I can't keep up with it. It's just, I just have, just wow. All right, Huey, Chrome 114.
Yes, that's the browser now, not the OS. That's not out yet, as far as I know. But I updated, I think it was yesterday or the day before. I checked to see what version I had. I had 113, and I said check for a new one, and sure enough, I got Chrome 114.
Oh, really? Okay, so that's something we should check, eh?
Yep.
I'm on the beta, so I'm already running version 115.
Oh. So, Huey, what's with transparent navigation bar? Is that something that
I don't know? I try to figure out what they meant by that, and I haven't.
You haven't done that.
I haven't figured it out. So,
all right. Grocery shopping mistakes that are costing you money.
Watch the video, learn to save some money. And with the cost of living so high, something we should all be doing. How's that for a plug?
Oh, I got to show Jim Gould something. Jim, this is my new DSLR. This is my Canon M200. I'm going to use that for instead of my webcam, so you can see that. This was, of course, I bought it on Amazon. And I keep telling everybody, they watch my video about shopping, doing the warehouse shopping. This was $180 off because it was damaged, right? It came from Amazon warehouse in a brand new spanking box. I have pictures of it. There's no damage whatsoever to it. It's brand new, wrapped right from the factory. And it's brand spanking new. So it's a great deal. Watch for those Amazon warehouse sales, not sales in the on the site.
Now, when I do that, I never find this. You always find something you want to buy that's in that listing, but I never do.
Sometimes, yeah, it depends what you're looking for. Sometimes,
absolutely.
Sometimes you do. Sometimes if it's a popular item, that's a popular camera, right? And if you find something that got lots of volume of, you'll frequently find something. Bill James actually put this in. Bill was on. Was he on that? Bill was on a couple of weeks ago. Was he on last week?
Last week.
Ford EVs getting supercharge access to. Yeah, we talked about that. I think last week. This is a big news. This is so Ford is. It's interesting. Elon Musk made the offer a couple of years ago to Ford, saying, do you want to use our superchargers on our Tesla? Have the same charging system. And Ford said, no. We don't have anything to you. You guys are the dark side. We don't want anything to do with you, right? And Ford's sort of not having a hard time lately. They're not doing so good, and so Elon Musk made them an offer again, and they accepted this time. And so now the new Ford EVs you'll be able to charge them. I don't know if it's going to come with two adapters. I'm not quite sure how the physical, but you'll be able to use the regular ones, I guess, and the Tesla superchargers.
Probably going to be an adapter that you can just swap.
Yeah, I don't quite know how that's going to work, but anyway, Huey.
Yeah, Reimagine. It's you can scan an entire photo album using your phone and get the older pictures. If there's four pictures on a page of an album, it will make individual photos of them. And if they're older ones, they might be black and white and in bad shape. If there's a lot of things to fix them and even colorize them. This is a phone-only app. So I have not tested it yet. And I'm not sure if there's a cost to it or if it's free.
We talked about that.
Yep.
Bob, was it on our show or was that
Yes.
a couple of weeks ago?
Yep.
It's
been a while ago. Yep.
Yeah. This is actually, I think, really is going to be great, and it's from myheritage.com.
Yeah.
I think this is I think it really merits trying out and try. I think this could be really great. It's lots of good options there. Maybe we'll have to do a video about it. Yes, this is the other thing we talked about, sensors. I know that Jim Gould, who's listing from Geeks on Tour, be sure and get them over the 10,000. But he talks about his ring. He uses an Aura ring, AURA, which is, of course, it's got a bunch of sensors on it. And this is another one called the Iris Smart Ring, and this does your blood pressure as well. And this is on a ring. So not only are these technologies available on a watch, but a lot of the technology we have, you can now just, you don't have to have a watch, you just wear a ring. I think that's really cool. Who was this? First, I love my electric, but realized this was, I posted this. This was an article from somebody who obviously lives in a urban area. And her comment, she said, I love my electric car, but I didn't realize my life would revolve around charging it. And I guess that is a problem. I'd be interested to see what Mike says about that. If you live in a urban area and maybe you're living in an apartment that doesn't have charging, then it does become an issue that you have to try and find a charger, which your life is sort of going to revolve around charging your car, right?
Absolutely.
So I think that's an interesting concept.
Yeah, absolutely. This article is a good example of using new technology, and the infrastructure is not there for us.
Right. Now, the other thing, Huey, that you and Mike need to talk about, that, well, mostly, and also Mike, is that you're in Florida, and we talked about hurricane season coming, right? One of the big factors that occur in hurricane season is you have to evacuate. You have to move a lot of people out very quickly, right? What happens with gasoline? You can quickly fill your car up and you can hold a lot of fuel, right? But how do you do that if you have to charge your car and you're in an apartment and you're looking for a public charger and you need to charge it so that you can evacuate, right? Like I think that's another problem we're going to see with EVs. Eh? What do you guys think about that?
Yeah, that and power going out.
True. That's right.
Of course, you can't fill up because the pumps don't work if there's no power, but you certainly get a lot of mileage out of a tank full of gas.
Right.
And you may be able to drive so far and find somebody who's got power that you can get gas. But when it comes to charging, it may be difficult. Yes.
But the problem would be is, suppose, for example, you live in an apartment and you get there's going to be an evacuation order in the next couple of hours because you can see this storm coming. You might be able to get down and fill a tank up with gas, right? That's going to take you 5 or 10 minutes. You fill your tank up with gas but how are you going to do that with it if you want? And what happens if that only gets,
you keep cutting out, Ron, but or if you're stuck in traffic and it's car bumper to bumper and you're using up the power and there's no place to pull off to get power. So
right today, the electric cars are really only best suited for people that have a home with a garage where they can charge it overnight. If I was living in an apartment, obviously I wouldn't consider getting an electric car today, an EV today.
But we're also facing a lot of this up here now with fires, like all the fires we're having up in Alberta and British Columbia now. And a lot of people have to move out and quickly, right? All right, we're getting to the end here. You got to be careful what you read. this says this is from Huawei. This was the world's first blood sugar assessment smartwatch. Huawei says that is coming out. This doesn't actually measure your blood sugar. It does a blood sugar assessment. In other words, how you're doing. If your blood sugar is normal, then your ECG should look a certain way, right? It's not actually measuring. So watch. You got to watch carefully.
Can't buy it here anyway.
No. And the other one is, I don't know if you guys, since you're all following ChatGPT, we did talk about this last week. ChatGPT does have an app now for your watch, Apple Watch. So there is a ChatGPT app for your Apple Watch. And I thought that was sort of cool.
Oh.
All right. I think we've done it. Do we have any more comments or questions?
Let's see. I think Mike is the only one that's, let's see. I don't think we did this.
I think most public EV charging will merge to support all EVs, Teslas. I think you're right. I think it's going to, recall the odd even gas lines of the past. Problems with ICE or EV will be similar as petrol gets scarce and until charging comes more. Yeah, I guess we're in a transition period. Dick says, I wonder how much roof solar panels impact the cost of replacing your single roof shingles. Don't know that.
That's it.
That's it. And it's also top of the hour. We're it.
Yes.
We've done it.
Right on the money.
Another great show, and want to thank you guys for coming and thank everyone that's listening. Don't forget our Monday show on Monday. It will be it's a Zoom meeting, and if you want to go to our website, tech4senior.com,
and bring a friend.
This week, if you bring a friend, you could win a $25 Amazon gift certificate just by having a friend. And you don't even have to have the friend come over to your house. Just give them the Zoom meeting link and have them log on, and we will be happy to, and you might win a $25 gift certificate. Thanks,
Ron,
Jim.
I just thought I'd point out it's a very good idea to have a Monday show on Monday.
It is. It is.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. We will see everybody same time next week. And don't forget to go over to Geeks on Tour and hit that subscribe button. Once, twice, three. No, it only works once. It only works once. But we only 28. Come on. We got to get them over 10,000 before Monday. Yeah, we got to do that. All right. Thanks, everyone.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.